Shocking revelation, the real reason why Yu Menglong died. Today's story is nothing short of shocking. In earlier episodes, we reported on the mysterious deaths of Yu Menglong and Qiao Renliang, rumored to be linked to the so-called sacrificial rituals of Xi Jinping's family. Whether those claims are true or not, we cannot yet verify. But now, a whistleblower, someone with inside knowledge, has come forward. In a letter sent to commentator Li Muyang, he revealed two chilling reasons behind Yu Menglong's death. The first reason, which we touched on before, Yu was sacrificed in the power struggle between Xi's faction and the anti-Xi military camp. But the second reason, exposed in that letter, is even more shocking. According to the whistleblower, Yu Menglong had been under Xi's faction's control for many years. That, the insider said, is why Yu once admitted, before the age of 25 he lived properly, but for the following 12 years he was toyed with by them. The insider explained that everything traced back to Yu's birth date and time. Just as it did for Qiao Renliang, he wrote, "The emperor wants to remain emperor forever, to never die. Since science cannot achieve this, he resorts to superstition." Here, the emperor clearly refers to Xi Jinping. Yu was reportedly forced to endure the removal of his fingernails and was even dressed in different clothes before being thrown from the building. But why such acts? The whistleblower claimed it was all part of a ritual known as Zhongshengji, a mysterious practice found in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Chinese folk traditions. This ritual symbolically buries the misfortunes of a living person through feng shui in an attempt to rewrite their destiny. And in this case, even the colors of Yu's clothing were said to carry a hidden meaning. Screenshots shared online revealed conversations about staging a burial ritual for Yu Menglong, modeled after one that had already been performed for Pang. In this version, Yu's fingernails would be replaced with parts of a fish, an attempt to deceive black and white impermanents, the two underworld guardians in Chinese folk belief who escort souls to the afterlife. The name Pang is widely believed to be a coded reference to Xi Jinping. The details that followed explained why. The screenshots claimed that Xi Jinping's father, Xi Zhongxun, had a karmic tribulation. Normally, such a tribulation should have been borne by his son, but Xi instead found Qiao Renliang, who shared the same birth date as his father, to absorb the calamity in his place. This, the source said, is why Qiao had to suffer a brutal death. The text went on, the 9th cycle ends. In other words, a cycle was complete. 9 years later, the second incident occurred, Yu Menglong's death. To resolve it, a full ritual arrangement was required. Qiao's death served as a lamp lit for Xi's father, while Yu's death provided fire for Xi himself. The screenshots went on to describe Yu's final clothing. One outfit was a white top with blue bottoms, the other a blue top with white bottoms. In the 5 elements, white represents metal and blue represents water. The first combination symbolized smooth succession, metal generating water. The second, in reverse, completed what was called a trapped soul formation. Together, these outfits formed a father-son karmic resolution ritual. The black font text stressed, "There is no coincidence in this world." It claimed Xi had turned to folk occult practices. It noted that Xi's father, Xi Zhongxun, was born on October 15, 1913. Qiao Renliang, the sacrificial victim, on October 15, 1987, Yu Menglong on June 15, 1988, and Xi Jinping himself on June 15, 1953. All of these were overlapping Gregorian calendar dates. Strictly speaking, in Bazi astrology, also known as the 4 pillars of destiny, the day pillars may not align perfectly, but for ritual purposes, the overlap was enough to claim lives, because it invoked shared human belief and collective thought energy. The text added, had Xi Zhongxun still been alive, he would have had to bear his own tribulation. But since he died early, his son Xi Jinping was meant to take it on. Instead, Xi found someone with the same day pillar as his father to act as a substitute. 14 years after Xi Zhongxun's death, a karmic cycle, Qiao Renliang was tortured to death. It also said Yu Menglong's birth data had been on their radar for at least 10 years. Shenqi was tasked with managing him, ensuring he didn't explode into uncontrollable popularity, but also wasn't suppressed so much that his aura would vanish. Xin Qi was rumored to be Xi Jinping's distant maternal relative, possibly connected to Peng Liyuan's extended family. Such rituals, the insider claimed, would never be entrusted to outsiders for fear of backlash. For years they waited for Xi to reach his great calamity year at age 72. This year, 2025, to complete the transformation from snake to dragon. Looking at Yu Menglong's destiny chart, no one else in China was said to match it. The email also claimed that both Yu and Qiao's deaths had been rehearsed in advance. Both men knew they would die. Yu even tried to save himself during live streams, while Qiao posted photos on Weibo hinting at his violent end. In Yu's final broadcast on August 29th, he whispered "help" twice, so faint it was like air whistling through his throat. Later, netizens discovered that Yu had repeatedly flashed the 540 hand gesture, a coded plea for help that no one recognized at the time. At this point, all of the above claims cannot be verified. Yet, as commentator Li Muyang remarked, the CCP's evil goes beyond the limits of human imagination, and that is widely known. Sorcery and occult practices have existed throughout China's dynasties. None of this is new. What is undeniable, however, is Xi Jinping's ambition to rule for life. The 19th Party Congress abolished term limits, and the 20th forced through a third term. Clear proof of his intent. Xi also longs to extend his own life. With power in his hands and the top seat secured, of course he wants more years to enjoy it. At the 2025 military parade, Xi even said that through organ harvesting and transplants, humans could live to 150 years. From what we understand, every person's fate in this world has already been arranged. Any attempt to deliberately change destiny, defy the will of heaven, especially through the kind of sinister, cruel sorcery described above, can only end in disaster. Cause and effect, retribution. No one escapes this universal law. The Chinese Communist Party, however, promotes atheism and denies the existence of the divine. During the Cultural Revolution, it tore down temples and forced monks and nuns back into secular life. In later years, it unleashed brutal persecution against people of faith, most savagely against Falun Gong practitioners, as well as against Christians and many other religious groups across China, provoking the wrath of both heaven and humankind. And now, through the tragic death of actor Yu Menglong, the CCP's true face of evil is once again exposed, before its own people and the entire world. This forces us to re-examine what many have long overlooked. The CCP is not China, but an evil regime ruling over it. We must make this distinction clear. Only when the CCP is gone will China truly have hope. Yu Menglong's mother delivers 3 messages. Commentator Lao Deng recently updated about Yu Menglong's mother situation. He said she had been taken away by police and forced to record a video parroting the so-called official statement that her son died from drinking and falling, so authorities could release it as if it were her own words. But she firmly refused to cooperate, and after days of standoff, the police had no choice but to let her go. After her release, Yu Menglong's mother conveyed 3 powerful messages through friends. Her first words were just 6 characters. Injustice, injustice, injustice. Tragic, tragic, tragic. She described how she had been taken and pressured to record the video, and she warned the public, if any footage surfaces online showing her saying her son jumped voluntarily, fell drunk, or took his own life out of guilt, it is not real. She made it clear she would never record such a statement. Finally, she called on netizens to continue speaking up for Yu Menglong. Tian Hairong versus Cheng Qingsong. A smokescreen? Soon after, disputes among figures linked to the incident raised further suspicion. On September 29th, actress Tian Hairong, allegedly among the 17 people at the party on the night Yu Menglong died, issued a public statement declaring she had never even known him. In her statement, Tian said she had requested certain online posts be deleted, but director Cheng Qingsong, reportedly the red-haired figure listed among the 17 people, refused. She added, "This incident dragged an innocent person like me into false rumors, misleading netizens who didn't know the truth and triggering unprecedented online abuse against me and my family. This has caused us serious harm. I have hired lawyers to sue Cheng Qingsong and those spreading these defamatory claims. Commentator Li Muyang, however, questioned her explanation, calling it evasive. He pointed out that Tian and Cheng have been close friends for 20 years, with deep financial and personal ties. Their public clash, he argued, could be a staged self-sacrifice act, a tactic to confuse the public, provide Cheng with an alibi for that night, and shift attention elsewhere. Amid growing public attention to the case, and against a backdrop of a faltering economy and long-simmering resentment over corruption in China's entertainment industry, Yu Menglong's death became the spark that ignited a powder keg of public outrage. Commentator Li Muyang reported that global attention has now reached 30 billion views, highlighting that the frantic maneuvering of those involved reveals little more than desperate attempts to survive under immense pressure. A direct challenge to the upcoming fourth plenum. The timing could not be more critical. The fourth plenum of the 20th CCP Congress, scheduled for October 20 to 23, was meant to showcase the party's economic roadmap. Instead, it has become a stage for fierce internal power struggles. Xi Jinping's health is reportedly declining. Rare public appearances show him walking with difficulty, fueling speculation that he may require intensive treatment or even be forced to step down. Rumors suggest Xi personally issued directives on the Yu Menglong case, while the 82nd Group Army's heavy armor was moved into Beijing, sparking whispers of instability. According to the Vision Times, the U.S. military is reportedly monitoring the situation closely. Gen Z awakening, a catalyst for change? Yu Menglong's death is more than a personal tragedy. It exposes systemic authoritarianism at the heart of the CCP. Analyst Tang Hao from channel Tang Hao says the crossroads of the world argues the case transcends a mere showbiz scandal, reflecting 6 defining traits of party rule: brutal repression, thought control, elite monopoly, media censorship, party above the law, and citizens treated as expendable. Tang stresses, Yu Menglong's wrongful death stems directly from the system of CCP rule. The system allows elites to exploit entertainers, launder money, suppress investigations, cremate bodies without transparency, and unleash sweeping online censorship. Past scandals, like the Lingu Ferrari crash and the Yang Lanlan incident tied to Bo Xilai's circle, show the same deep-rooted decay. The Ministry of Public Security has reportedly ordered silence on the Yu case until November. Tang concludes that only dismantling the CCP can prevent tragedies like this from recurring. Meanwhile, international scrutiny is mounting. BBC and RFI continue to report on the case, and the reputable international magazine Foreign Policy has reopened discussions on Yu Menglong's mysterious death. If signatures demanding justice for Yu Menglong on the Ava's website surpass 500,000, the case could even shape foreign policy. The global petition struck like 1,000 bolts of lightning, throwing suspects into panic and exposing cracks within the party's system. China's youth, inspired by Yu Menglong's case, are beginning to question the legitimacy of the regime itself, reminiscent of Nepal's youth-led revolution against autocracy last September. Speculation is growing that if Xi loses his grip, he may seek refuge abroad, with North Korea or Russia floated as possible safe havens. Whether this storm fizzles or erupts into a larger political reckoning, one thing is clear. The eyes of the world are fixed on what comes next in the Yu Menglong saga. Spiritual awakening. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to share something I recently came across on the Unsolved Mysteries channel from commentator Fu Yao. In a previous episode, we discussed Taiwanese fortune teller Hairong, who accessed the Akashic records from another dimension to connect with Yu Menglong's soul. She explained that through this, she saw his soul carrying a lingering fear of being killed, a fear that continues even after death. She said that Yu Menglong's life was tragically cut short. Because he died violently, his soul carries a heavy weight of resentment and, at present, cannot reincarnate. Some netizens questioned this, noting that Yu Menglong was such a kind and good-hearted person in the entertainment industry. How could someone so good be unable to reincarnate? According to commentator Fuyao, based on current understanding, because Yu Menglong was murdered, this is considered a violent death, not a natural passing due to old age or the normal end of life. From a Buddhist perspective, anyone who dies violently must find a substitute. Without a substitute, the soul cannot reincarnate, a deeply painful state. Similarly, taking one's own life is treated like a violent death. The suffering repeats every 7 days, which is unbearable. That is why Buddhism teaches that one must never take his own life. Sadly, some people, out of ignorance or despair, take their own lives without realizing the suffering it brings, making liberation extremely difficult. Family members can help by performing rituals, reciting sutras, chanting Buddha's name, or offering repentance and merit transfer to support the soul. This explains why Hairong sensed that Yu Menglong may currently be in a state of suffering and unable to reincarnate. It also explains why his mentor and Taiwanese artist manager, Sundarong, is performing rituals at Dzangwang Bodhisattva Temple in Xinzhuang, Taiwan, to help him find peace and liberation. Hairong also mentioned that, through the spiritual information she accessed, she felt Yu Menglong was a kind and charitable person. He had no personal grievances with his attacker, which suggests the killer was likely just a hired hand, while the true mastermind remains elsewhere. Hairong encouraged anyone who wishes to help Yu Menglong's soul to pray to the divine, hoping that the wrongdoers face justice and that goodness is ultimately vindicated. What's particularly striking is that, in the comments section of Fuyao's video, so many viewers shared prayers for him. These messages didn't come only from his fans, but also from people who had never met him, yet felt profound sorrow over his passing. Some wrote, "I've been reading the Kshitigarbha Sutra for 3 days and following a vegetarian diet. I hope everyone can pray and recite sutras within 49 days or even 100 days to help him be reborn in the Pure Land." Others commented, "If people stay silent, he won't be the last. I pray that the Creator shows mercy and lifts Yu Menglong's kind soul from the devil's purgatory to heaven. Everything has cause and effect, and those who do evil should face the consequences they deserve." There are countless messages like these. Reading them is deeply moving. It shows that this is not just about seeking fairness and justice, but about taking real action, appealing to the divine for help. This is incredibly touching, not only for commentator Fuyao, but for me as well. I feel that Yu Menglong's passing is not just about him. The profound impact of his death encourages people to reconnect with their spirituality and reclaim their divine essence. This is no small matter. Its significance is immense.